What's the next big boom in online video marketing, and what is the next big thing in marketing? That's a question I get asked all the time. Now, if you don't know anything about me, my name is Mike Koenigs, and I've been marketing online since, believe it or not, in the 80s. I started out with acoustic coupler modems and old pre-Apple II computers, actually TRS-80, Model 1, 2, and 3s, if that means anything to you at all. And if that doesn't sound relevant, well, I'm going to tell you that what is very important and what I have been paying attention to is how and why people buy and why they buy online. So today we're going to talk about some of my predictions and what I believe is going to be the next big thing in marketing. Now, if you know the first thing about marketing, your goal, yes, is to prepare your audience, prepare an environment for selling your products and services. And of course, our goal is to sell more and work less. If you have a great marketing system in motion, your marketing is working for you, building your brand, creating an audience, and driving people and traffic to your website or your storefront, whatever it may happen to be. Well, as a marketer, we're looking for ways to reach more people, impact more lives, and engage more prospects. So one of the ideas that I like to think about is, how do you get underneath your ideal perfect audience? And that just means, how can you influence the maximum number of people and get them interested in what you have to sell? So also, great marketing is going to help you retain your existing customers and also create more reasons to increase what those customers spend with you. So marketing is something that you're doing all the time, no matter where you are in your marketing process. So let's talk about the end goal. This is ultimately about your lifestyle. So if you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, of course, your goal, at least the illusion we like to live under, is that we're creating a better lifestyle for ourselves and our families. And done right, when you have the perfect marketing machine in motion, that's exactly what happens. So let's take a look. Before we get into what I think the next big thing is, let's talk about big booms for a moment. Now, in the past, what we look for are massive disruptions that take place. In other words, there are trends, there's a combination of technology, societal changes that cause people to behave differently. So a great boom is a combination of reaching critical mass. For example, cell phones have reached critical mass now. Also momentum, a lot of forward momentum, a lot of spending that's going on. Next, you have a shift in market behavior. In other words, right now, there are more people, over 1 billion people are registered in online using Facebook right now. Now, the biggest and fastest growing segment are people over 60. How's that for interesting? So a huge percentage, over 1/7 of the human race has a Facebook account. And also perceptions. I can remember a time when people would say, hey, I'll never have a microwave in my house. I'll never have a fax machine, or I'll never even carry a cell phone. And now, in the past, I've actually gone to Africa and I've watched people walking through the ditches in Africa with smartphones checking in on their Facebook accounts and posting pictures. Okay, that's radically changed in just a few years. And also, when you take advantage of this, it's a combination of timing and luck. Okay, so there's a great saying that huge money is made during big booms, but also we're all geniuses during a boom market. So if you take a look at some previous big booms, we've got the dot-com and the internet phase that happened in the late 90s. Also real estate. If you got into real estate in the late 90s and early 2000s and got out maybe around 2006, 2007, you probably made a fortune, but if you didn't, you probably lost a fortune. And also the online, the video, and the local marketing space. We were very fortunate. We created a series of products and services that revolved around the online, the video, and the local marketing space. And we took advantage of that at an early phase, and a lot of people needed it. And that happened when traditional old media like newspapers, magazines, radios, and television became a lot less effective in terms of marketing. And if you were doing online marketing, doing local marketing, and still are, you've been able to take advantage of these shifts. Also, the app and the mobile space. Recently, Apple had their 50 billionth download of apps, which is insane, okay? Think about that. That's a market that didn't even exist just a few years ago. And then finally, this is another really great phrase that I like, or a quote rather. It's of all the words of mice and men, the saddest are it might have been, by the late Kurt Vonnegut. So what this all comes down to is, if you can see changes in market behavior, take advantage of technology shifts, and also what's going on, especially online, you have an opportunity to make a lot of money. And a big part of what I'm going to share with you today has to do with taking advantage of some trends, some motions, and some behaviors that are not going to just be a short-term opportunity, but this is a long-term. But what's key is getting in early, and that's what we're going to be talking today. The keyword phrase we're going to use is something I call multicasting. So if you think about it, what you're missing right now is a time machine. And if I gave you an opportunity right now to look inside a crystal ball and see things that maybe could happen in the future, and let's just go back. If you had an opportunity to buy Apple stock when it was very, very inexpensive, for example, or Google stock, you could make a fortune. In fact, I saw a news article recently, if you would have just invested what it would have cost you to buy a MacBook back in the mid-2000s and bought Apple stock instead, you'd be worth a lot of money right now. So the whole thing is you're looking for leverage. You're looking for a way to multiply your time and your energy and your money, especially when it comes to marketing. So what I want to do is give you a little time machine today. So again, if you don't know anything about me, I've created and sold quite a few businesses, and I've been marketing online for quite some time. And I'm basically good at three things, and that is creating well-timed products, and also associating or creating desirable offers and sales content that revolves around that, and then teaching and delivering, providing results. So what I want to do is I want to lend you as much of this as I can, and again, give you an opportunity to take advantage of what I think is the next big thing. In fact, there is absolute specific proof that this is happening, and you'll notice it and see it as I share it with you today. So I've been predicting the future for about 35 years. In 1989, I started a company called Digital Cafe. It was one of the first digital marketing agencies. If you ever heard any words like Razorfish or US Web, these were a couple of the other early agencies, and I was fortunate enough to sell it to a billion-dollar agency in 1999. And since then, I've got the name back. And I've been doing online marketing, and like I said, I started in the 1980s, back when they were just modems and BBSs, and if you've ever heard of AppleLink, Prodigy, Delphi, CompuServe, those are some of the early networks that I actually made a living on. But when online video started to come into vogue, I was fortunate that I created a product called the Internet Infomercial Toolkit before YouTube even started. And when YouTube came about, well, I was right there and able to take advantage of that, and so were my customers and clients who invested in that program. I started a product called Traffic Geyser in about 2005, 2006, and Traffic Geyser is a system. It still is a very powerful tool today that allows you to take your video, take your marketing content, and distribute it all over the web with the click of a button. And I've had 9 consecutive multi-million-dollar product launches, selling products online over the past 5 years. In particular, of course, now in 2013, if you go back, it's really been about 8 that I've been intensely focused on the online marketing world. And some of our other products have been ahead of their time as well. Doing mobile with Instant Customer, that company started in 2008. We created a local marketing program that trained people how to start their own businesses and become highly paid online marketing consultants for local businesses. It was called Main Street Marketing Machines in 2009. We also did social media marketing machines actually in 2010. Don't pay attention to the date here. And then we also created a program that helps people turn their ideas into books and publish online with a product called Author Expert Marketing Machines. And there have been plenty of other products as well. So again, my point here isn't to brag or anything other than to just give you some proof that we've been ahead of our time in terms of our companies and being able to create products that really have helped people and impacted their lives and helped them get established online, create brands, create visibility, start marketing and promoting themselves, and also make more money with less effort. And here are some proof pictures. People who've used some of our products and have been able to successfully implement in a very, very short period of time. And for example, with one of our products, Author Expert Marketing Machines, we had nearly 15% of our customers wrote and published a best-selling book in under 90 days using our system. And these are just some of the pictures and proof of that. So let's move forward. One of the things that is very important, an important concept to get across, is the concept of traffic geyser and broadcasting your message online. And I just want to take a moment to describe this to you before I go on and explain the big boom and how you can leverage and take advantage of it. So, for example, if you took a camcorder right now, or for that matter, any mobile phone, and we shot a short video, maybe of you, describing your product, your service, and what you do and who you do it for, and you wanted to market yourself, well, the first rule of marketing is, again, you want to get underneath your intended audience and broadcast your message, ideally to the entire human race. So if we took the chip out of this camera after we recorded a little video, maybe you'd talk a little bit about the myths about your product or service, or a couple frequently asked questions. In other words, you'd create some good content by just simply answering questions. But we'd take that video out and we'd put it into Traffic Geyser. For example, this is an interview that I did with the great Tim Ferriss, the author of The 4-Hour Workweek, The 4-Hour Body, and The 4-Hour Chef. Well, if we took that video and put it in Traffic Geyser and pressed a button, it would get distributed to a bunch of video sites. Well, that's an effective way to broaden your message, and anyone visiting those sites would be able to find and maybe watch that video, but it will also help your search engine rankings. Next, if you social bookmarked that that video rather, it would also intensify the number of places where your content would be seen. And if you placed it on social networks, now for example, you want to put it on Pinterest and Facebook and Twitter, but if you could automate it on more social networks, again, more visibility. Next, if we transcribed your video and turned it into an article, we could distribute that to multiple article directories. So Traffic Geyser has a feature to convert that video into text content, literally into a Microsoft Word document with human transcriptionists that can now be an article. And that can be distributed to multiple directories. It can also be posted on multiple blogs simultaneously. Also turned into a podcast, sent to podcast directories, and ultimately that's going to give you a lot of visibility both in search engines as well as all of those properties. In a way, this is a form of syndication. It's a lot of distribution with minimal effort. Now, this isn't intended to be a sales pitch for a Traffic Geyser, but instead just to get your mind wrapped around what happens, because there are about 2.5 billion internet-connected desktop and laptop computers in the world right now. So just broadcasting your message and your content to as many places as possible gives you access to billions of potential viewers who can help you see your content, which will in turn help build your brand. It will also be distributed so mobile devices can reach it as well. And I'm talking about not just mobile phones, but also the latest wave in tablet computers. So right now there are over 6 billion mobile phones in use worldwide and approximately 1.5 billion smartphones as of now. That number is climbing sharply every single month. And also, there's about 1.5 billion televisions in use worldwide. The vast majority of new TVs that are being sold have YouTube or some form of internet connectivity built in. The days of cable and broadcast are very, very limited right now. So the bottom line is, if you start out, create some simple content just by shooting it with a mobile phone or a camcorder, we can distribute it worldwide with the click of a button in a matter of minutes and gain access to a tremendous number of people. Almost the entire human race right now is connected online. About 85% has some form of connectivity. And that number, of course, is growing all the time. So let's move into a couple other trends and disruption that's happening in the media marketplace. One of them is podcasting. It's hit critical mass. That basically means that right now, from your iPhone or your Android device or your tablet, or if you have an Apple TV or any other kind of connected box, you're able to download broadcast quality content and listen to it on your time. And this is an interesting stat I ran into recently. Right now, about 20% of all drive time radio is streaming in nature, and that number is dramatically increasing every year. That basically means people aren't listening to broadcast radio anymore to get their content, information, news, and entertainment while they're driving. And in the United States, a tremendous number of people, of course, drive to work every day. It's a great advertising opportunity. Next, it's live webcasting, or what we call livecasting, has hit critical mass as well. Now, what has happened recently is YouTube has made the entire process free. And again, let's look at this in the past. What is happening that is very important. If you had to pay for bandwidth, in other words, I wanted to broadcast this content live to you in real time, up until very recently, I'm talking in the past couple months, that was expensive to do. It would cost thousands of dollars to broadcast to a couple thousand people. Well, now YouTube has basically obliterated and shattered that price barrier, so all of us, using nothing more than, say, a webcam on our laptop or connecting a camcorder directly to the web, we can broadcast to hundreds of thousands of people in real time, live, for free. That is a huge thing. And what's happening is the traditional broadcasters, television for example, they are shaking in their shoes because in the past it required an expensive studio, an expensive set, expensive equipment, and broadcasting gear to broadcast content worldwide. Not anymore. So you and I are able to do this cheaply and easily because software is easy, free, and cheap as well. Next, the whole idea, again, I mentioned this before, getting under your audience. So if you, for example, know that you have a product or service, and I don't care if you're an attorney, a chiropractor, an author, an expert on any topic, a speaker, consultant, coach, an entrepreneur, or a corporate owner, for example, your goal is to identify your perfect audience, who's buying your products, who's implementing, who's using them, create content that answers their questions, conditions them to buy. That's what I mean when I say getting under. And you want to become the go-to expert or authority on some subject so your audience gets to know, like, and respect you or your brand. But using the tools like podcasting, which is free, we can do that very, very quickly. Livecasting and webcasting, which is basically free. And identifying who your perfect audience is, we have the ability to get under your audience, broadcast your message to the entire human race, and start doing business online, and do it worldwide as well. And as we've been saying around here, engagement is the new SEO, or search engine optimization. In the past, you could rig search engine optimization, which basically meant you could create content, put it on a bunch of blogs, broadcast it all over the place, and it would help your search engine rankings. But not anymore. Google's gotten smart. So have all the other search engines. They pay attention to how long people are being engaged with your content. So if you're creating audio or video and putting it on your website and people come to your website, Google's tracking everything these days. They want to pay attention to someone who's engaging an audience for 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes at a time, not for 15 seconds. Okay? So if you're engaging your audience, Google's paying attention, so are the other search engines, which is going to, again, drive more traffic to you. So what I'm telling you is if you want to play online, you've got to be creating engaging content. The fastest, easiest, and most effective content is video. All right, a couple other big trends. Obviously, we have free distribution. Bandwidth these days is free. Broadcasting is free. And the equipment is cheap. We've got over 6 billion internet-connected devices. Super low barrier to entry, and the awareness is so high. Tablets have changed all that. Recently, iPads and Kindle devices and Android tablets are outselling laptop computers for the first time ever, and they're going to continue to skyrocket. People who are just buying computers for the first time are actually buying tablets instead, at least on a statistical level. And when you look at the sales of Dell and HP laptops, severely plummeted. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do. So is Microsoft right now. So the point of all this, if you've ever heard this Wayne Gretzky quote, which is skate to where the puck is going, not to where it has been. If you want to be relevant in the future, you want to be taking advantage of what we call multicasting. I'll get more into that in a little while. Podcasting, both audio podcasting, video podcasting, and live casting. That is the future, in my opinion. So, massive disruption is happening right now, and like anything, if you get in early and you're able to establish a brand, establish visibility, you're going to stay and be relevant in your consumers' minds, or in your customers' minds. So again, looking back, more examples of this. Software distribution. We used to go to software stores to buy our products, not anymore. Okay, the internet changed all that. We buy our products online now. Going back to music, it used to be that you could get away when you're a record label creating an album that had 2 good songs and the rest of them are garbage, selling them in a record store, right? Well, Napster changed all that because people were downloading individual songs. Apple recognized and said, look, People aren't all thieves. What they want is convenient access to music. They started iTunes, and right now iTunes is the most relevant music distribution vehicle in the world. Okay, people are happy to pay $1 a song. That's good value for you and me. And we can say, hey, look, I only want the 2 good songs. I don't want the other garbage. It's forced music to get a lot better too. Artists now are presenting and performing instead of living on the royalties, and the record companies that aren't providing good value are going away. The same has happened in the news and information business. Amazon right now with the Kindle, Amazon is distributing 85% of all books worldwide right now. Okay, it's pretty mind-blowing that's happened so rapidly, and at the present time, Kindle books are outselling physical books by 1.3 to 3 times, depending on the time of the year. Meaning in December or around Christmas time, Kindle books are outselling 3 to 1 over physical books. Again, Amazon's distributing 85%. We took advantage of that trend when we created the product Author Expert Marketing Machines. We taught people how to rapidly create books and publish them in record time and become best-selling authors. So again, it's all about timing. I'll give you another example here. Recently, using a strategy of just recording some questions and answers, my good friend Paul Colligan and I sat down, recorded a 90-minute video, which became content that we distributed and gave away online in the form of a free live webcast. Again, we were able to broadcast it for free to, in our case, hundreds of people simultaneously. We transcribed that content, sent it out to an editor for a few $100s, and managed to publish this book on Amazon and become a #1 bestseller, selling over 1,600 books in a single weekend, basically for free. Amazon lets you do this for free, but from start to finish, 17 days. That is, we presented and performed video content, it became marketing content, turned it into a book, published it on Amazon for free as a Kindle book as well as a paperback book. And look, we can buy, whether we buy 1 or 10,000 of these at a time, they only cost us $2 a piece. It becomes one of the most powerful forms of marketing imaginable. Okay? Again, just one example, but this is a way to take advantage of this massive disruption. And what I can tell you is there's a simple step-by-step formula to doing this. Just like all of marketing is really a formula. And look at what Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix are doing right now. Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, and I'm talking about their video division, is currently creating their own video content. Now, what that means is right now there are more people subscribed to Netflix than HBO. All right, that's a huge, massive thing. Cable used to be the holy grail, and no longer. You and I can produce content, put it on networks, and sell it or make it available on demand to any device worldwide with the click of a button and get paid for it. That is shattering some huge barriers that have previously been held by only the bigwigs. Okay, distribution is key here. And here's another example. Hollywood is being decimated as well. Now we're talking about the little movies, the indie movies, but recently there's a former TV show called Veronica Mars. The TV show's been off the air for 5 years. The producers decided, hey, let's go to Hollywood, we want to make a movie. And Hollywood said, no, we don't think you have a real audience. So they said, forget you guys, we're going to post a project to make our movie on Kickstarter. And they were asking for just $2 million to make their movie. Well, here's what happened. They put their project up and they offered different levels of financing, so people could pay a little bit more money if they wanted to see certain things happen. For example, if you wanted to see a certain character die, we wanted to reach $3 million in sales. Well, the bottom line is they raised $5.2 million in under 30 days to produce this movie, and in fact sold opportunities to be an extra inside the film. This is called crowdsourcing. It's a huge movement right now. The basic idea, if you're wondering, why is this relevant to me? It's because you have an opportunity to create content, to connect with your audience, and be a producer. So don't think of yourself as being just in the business you're in. Again, I don't care what service or product you're selling. If you're entertaining and you're educating and communicating and becoming a brand, of being an authority and an expert and a trusted advisor to your intended audience, broadcast your message, and there are people out there that'll help finance it as well. This is just an example. So Bottom line is, if you look at Netflix, they recently invested $100 million to produce 2 seasons of a program called House of Cards. It's the largest production for a television program ever in the history of television. Okay, that established them as a massive brand, and they are currently out HBOing HBO. This is why they have all these eyeballs. Now, $100 million is a lot of money, but what it means for you and me is this idea. Again, we want to leverage and ride the wave of critical mass and movement, momentum. Someone else is spending hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to build an infrastructure that we can just ride in on and leverage and take advantage of as entrepreneurs. That's a big deal. We don't have to be the pioneers with arrows in our backs like 20 years ago, all right? Again, you look at Amazon. Amazon's doing the same thing. They're producing a single episode of a show, monitoring what ones get the best reaction response, and then financing the programs. The basic idea is, right now, you and I could sit down, set up a camera, talk a little bit, take that video, post it online, and see if it grabs some attention, if it starts building an audience. And once you understand some basic principles of marketing and leveraging this new technology, you can build an audience, see if it works, and if it continues to work, great. Build your brand on top of that. If it doesn't hook people, you stop doing it and try something different. That's, again, the secret to great marketing. So as I mentioned earlier, 50 billion app downloads by Apple, and right now the Android platform is just behind it, around 40 billion app downloads, and rising and increasing all the time. Okay, this is great for you and me because it means people are going and looking at their mobile devices to get educated and entertained and do business. All right, so that's a symbol for podcasting, video podcasting. The fact that we've got live webcasting is free. If you combine all those and put them all together, we have what I consider the next big thing, which is multicasting. All right, so it is a perfect blend of audio and video and social hitting critical mass right now, and you have the ability, using tools like Traffic Geyser, for example, and our other platform, Instant Customer, to push button distribute your content for free and create content on the fly and give it away to build an audience and build your brand. Market yourself worldwide and engage your audience. In other words, get underneath them because, as I mentioned earlier, engagement is the new SEO. So you've got huge search engine optimization benefits, the ability to build a valuable worldwide brand and let your prospects and customers take you with them everywhere. So they can listen to and watch you on their mobile phone, okay? They can put you in your car. You can work out with you. They can also watch you on their desktop or laptop computers. Again, there's 2.5 billion of them worldwide, or their tablet, their iPad, their Android device, or on their television if they have an internet-connected television or an Apple TV or a Roku device connected, for example. This is the time to get in right now while the opportunity is huge and we've hit this critical mass. And the key word phrase for you is free distribution. It's all free to take advantage of this, and that, I think, is really exciting. It's easy, it's cheap, and it's reached that critical mass. Right now, for $250, you can get a Canon camcorder like this, which is going to outperform a broadcast television camera that cost a couple $100,000 just a couple decades ago. All right? And this is good enough to produce high-definition video content. In fact, the camera that's built into your latest mobile phone is also high definition. It's good enough to produce your first programs, and once you start making money using this vehicle, you can always upgrade. Okay? It is a disease, I promise you that. I've bought a lot of gear over the past few years. So the key and most important thing is you can learn how to audio podcast in under an hour, video podcast in about the same period of time, and broadcast online for free also in under an hour. You don't have to be a technical genius, and you can do it with practically zero budget. In fact, if all you have is a laptop computer, you can get by and make videos or make audio programs with nothing else. Or, for example, this is called a Yeti microphone by a company called Blue. It costs $100, and you can produce radio quality broadcasting with this. You can produce television quality broadcasting with this, right? It does not take a lot to make it work. So are you excited? Let's keep moving forward. I'm going to give you a couple examples, some case studies of how this works. So the first one is a good friend of mine. His name is Joe Polish. He has a podcast called I Love Marketing. Right now, and all it is, this is the cheapest, easiest thing. It's unimaginably simple, and this is a picture of a video. I was actually in one of his episodes. But Joe records this with a partner, a friend of his. His name is Dean Jackson. They do most of these on the phone and just record the phone conversation using Skype. And they add it to Apple. Apple will distribute your podcast for free in the iTunes directory, and we show you how to do that. But they've so far done 115 episodes already. Crazy. They've been doing it about 2 years. They're getting 300,000 monthly downloads. And right now, one of the things that Joe does is he offers a $25,000 mastermind, and this podcast is one of the top marketing podcasts on iTunes today. You can see that in the image right here when you search under marketing in iTunes. But he's got not only top placement in iTunes, but it's helped him build a tremendously huge brand. In fact, he's got 2 billionaires that I know of in that mastermind already, and he's attracted some incredible talent as well. So the key thing is he wanted to position himself as a huge authority and expert in marketing, and he's been able to attract big brands and big people to that, something that wouldn't have been possible without it. Okay? Now, here's an example of something we call a multicast case study. Now, when we were selling that program I mentioned earlier, Main Street Marketing Machines, what we did is we produced a live webcast. People would come into our studio, the one I'm standing in right now, and we also piped some of them in using Skype video, and if they weren't able to make it to our live studio. But they sat down, we interviewed them, and the bottom line is using this live cast, and this is back when it cost us about $3,000 for a day of broadcasting, okay? Now we can do it for free, so that's one expense that went away. We had about 2,000 people who attended that live show that we broadcast for an entire day, all right? Well, the bottom line is that live broadcast generated $3.1 million in sales in one day. Now, I can't promise the same thing will happen to you, but all we did is we interviewed customers and showed proof, physical, irrefutable proof, that they were using our tools, getting customers and clients, and they became highly paid marketing consultants doing local marketing for other businesses, using video, using audio, using search engines and mobile marketing to do that. So, in effect, we broadcast proof and entertained and educated our audience, and we did something that TV and radio doesn't let you do, not easily anyways. People were able to chat and communicate with us, ask questions, we were able to answer them in real time and create a real sense of community. Nowadays, using YouTube's tools, it's free. It's something called Google Hangouts. That's one of them. It's free to anyone to use. You can broadcast to as many people as you want, interact with them, and it records everything for you, and you can do it with a webcam that's built into your laptop. It's pretty exciting. So that's the example right there. Here's another one. We did another multicast recently. This is a smaller one with another program we created called Make Market Launch It. Same basic formula. It's a day-long broadcast. People come into our little studio, we sat down with them and presented live, showed some case studies, and we broadcast this time just to 600 people for 6 hours. And believe it or not, there were people online from all over the world watching us, interacting with us, asking questions, talking about what they're doing. A lot of them were already pre-existing customers, okay? Generated $497,502 in sales in one day from only 600 people watching. And I can tell you, I can look you in the eye and tell you that this is right now, in my opinion, the most effective branding and sales strategy available to anyone today. It's something that anyone can learn how to do when they understand the formula and the psychology of selling with video. Okay? It's something that I'd be honored to be able to teach you. Now here's the other one that I mentioned to you earlier, which here's Paul and I. Now he was in Oregon talking to me live. Here I am sitting in my little studio. And our goal was simply to answer 21 questions about marketing using podcasts. Okay? So the two of us sitting down, we broadcast to 300 people, and we transcribed the broadcast, edited, published the book, and as I had mentioned earlier, we became a #1 bestseller in 17 days, and the book is a critical marketing tool for the new product we're creating. In fact, it's one of our foot in the door strategies for our new product, and I'll talk to you about that in a moment. Okay? So the key thing here is the time is right now, in my opinion, for you to take advantage of multicasting to get your message and get your brand out there, and it can be done. If you're afraid of being on camera, or you think you don't sound right, or you don't look right, there are simple strategies to get over that. I've trained hundreds of thousands of business owners now worldwide in over 60 countries on how to get over their fears. That's the least of your concerns. When you are standing in a place of service and you are willing to be a servant and being able to connect and grow and impact more people with your message and your word, this is the perfect tool to get there and do it. And again, you have the ability right now, for the first time in our history as a race and a civilization, to broadcast your message to a combined audience of over 6 billion people who are connected in some way, shape, or form online today. I think it's really exciting, and engagement is the new SEO. If you're not using and leveraging video, you're going to go in the direction of the dodo. You are not going to be able to continue to drive continuous traffic to your audience and to your website, rather, without using video. And I believe podcasting and live broadcasting is the key to getting there. All right, I mentioned this already, 20% of drive time audio is streaming now. It's growing dramatically, a few percentage points every single year. Last I saw it was about 7% a year. So we're going to rapidly hit critical mass within a couple of years. There are free apps available for every smartphone, tablet, desktop, machine to download this content, okay? So it's all free. It's free to you to broadcast and create. It's free to them to download and listen to, and they're not subject to someone else's advertising either. It can be your advertising in your product. Something like an Apple TV, only $100. We know Apple's going to be coming out with more integrated tools in the near future. There's a lot of rumors about a physical television that'll have this technology built in. But right now, there's a substantial audience of high quality prospects that have these devices. You can be not only being carried around with your prospect in real time on the road, in their cars, on their pockets, but also in the living room as well. It's huge. But you put all these things together and you get multicasting. So if you're ready, I'd like to get engaged with you right now and show you how you can take this to the next level. So let me give you an example of what you need to do in order to multicast and broadcast your message to the entire human race. All right, here it is. This is Multicast marketing machines. We've been working on this, and I believe it is the future of marketing online. So what we're doing is a live in-studio training. I am right now sitting inside Digital Cafe. I can show you a couple video clips of the entire studio, but what we do is we do a live hands-on small group training, only 30 people in our environment and our audience here at Digital Cafe headquarters. And don't worry if you are located outside of the United States and you aren't able to fly in, while we do make this available with a live broadcast as well. But what you'll receive are 2 days of hands-on training where you'll learn how to produce audience-grabbing content that will help you get more customers, make more money, and get underneath your audience. And we're going to show you, and you'll walk away learning how to audio podcast, video podcast, and live cast, and actually do it as well. So that's number one. And the key thing here, this is a huge opportunity. If you are right now a marketing consultant, or you'd like to become an online marketing consultant, doing live casting, doing live broadcasting for other small business owners or entrepreneurs, corporations, authors, expert speakers, consultants, and coaches, this is a huge opportunity to get on the ground floor, because there is more demand right now than there are people who know how to do it, and we'll show you how to get customers and how to sell this into businesses as well. It's a huge opportunity to make a lot of money. Again, $5,000 or $10,000 per day is a very, very reasonable, affordable opportunity for business owners to pay for this, and also it's almost pure cash for you once you have a little bit of equipment and it's not a lot of gear. Speaking of gear, we've actually put together exactly what you need. So we're giving you a guide of hardware and software you need. And the good news is it's really, really cheap. As I had mentioned earlier, you can get in and get very good cameras for as little as $250. Microphones are very affordable. If you want an audio podcast for only $100, you can get into this. But we also get into multiple camera systems as well, what's known as switchers. All the gear you need, whether you've got almost zero budget or you've got thousands of dollars to spend. We've actually explored it, and we've been doing this for many years. I've been involved in video production for decades now, and we won't steer you in the wrong direction. What to buy, where to get it, how to set it up, how to configure it, that's part of the 2 days of training. So again, we're going to show you how to set this up, and you'll be able to walk into a real set like this one and see exactly how the professionals do it. And again, if you want to do it super cheap on the low budget range, or that's all you have to work with, no problem. We're going to show you that as well. So the key is how to set up and make that equipment work, even if you're not a technically minded person. This isn't rocket science. I did mention this, but if you are overseas, we're right now working with over 60 different countries worldwide. The training will be multicast, so while it's taking place here in the studio, it's going to be broadcast too, so you won't be left behind if travel is a challenge for you, okay? So the objective is we're also going to teach you some of our formulas. We've got strategies that we've been using for years, good marketing strategies for being able to entertain, educate, and engage your audience and get underneath your audience, but also be able to convert and sell your products as well. And then of course you'll be able to come into this studio. It's over $300,000 worth of equipment, software, tools, and setup that we've gone into, as well as the set. So you're going to see the way we do it, be able to ask questions, and all this content is going to be recorded as well. Now we also have a bonus package, a series of bonuses. So the first thing is we're going to give you access to our membership site. All the content, all the tools, the buyer's guide, the step-by-step training is inside a membership site that you'll be able to access as well. Here you can see an image, a picture of one of our previous classes. We've been running these classes for quite a while right now. They're very exciting, they're very interactive, and again, if you can't make it here in person, you'll be able to watch it live. Next, this is something a lot of people asked us. They said, okay, what was your strategy for being able to do that live cast and be able to record it and turn this and create a book in just over 2 weeks and become a #1 bestseller? We're actually deconstructing, and we're going to show you step by step how Paul and I managed to do it. So you'll be able to get all your questions answered as well. Again, this is a perfect strategy. It's a perfect complement to our other program, Author Expert Marketing Machines, as well. But it's another service that you can offer a customer or client. It's something you can do for yourself. It's a way to engage and be able to get into your customers' minds and their hearts with books as well. Whether it's a physical book, a Kindle book, the video, or the audio that goes along with it, you can literally create content that helps drive search engines to you. Get your content put together so you can become a published author, which is one of the most powerful tools imaginable to get speaking opportunities and also to engage your customers and prospects. But you can do it in about a half a day and outsource everything else. This book cover was done online for just actually it was just done for a couple $100. We had it edited for just a couple $100, and we'll tell you exactly how that was done. Okay, it is a very, very powerful strategy and tool that will help you multiply your value and your income and become one of the best marketing tools you can have. I mentioned already the professional video equipment buyer's guide. Very, very important that you know what to buy and where to get it. We're also giving you graphic templates. So the whole time I've been standing in front of this monitor, you're wondering, well, how am I going to put up graphics? What am I going to do? How am I going to get templates for my podcast and my live cast? Well, we're giving you professional ready-made ones. They're templates that you can fill in the blanks, export them, and you don't have to be a graphic designer. You don't have to hire a graphic designer, and it's going to make all your stuff look really professional. All those tools are going to be given to you inside the membership site and live when you come to the training. Okay, we're also, when you create your first show, we will promote you in our newsletter, which is currently going out to over 200,000 people in our social stream and our combined list. So when you use and implement the program, we want to promote you and give you access to an audience to get engaged with, give you that kickstart you need. Next, we do regular live events. Our next one is coming up. It's called Rocktoberfest. You're going to get 2 tickets to our live events. That is Engage Training. We show you video marketing, social media marketing, how to do video production, how to leverage books and content and media online, and also how to create products and services. It's a great way to network and meet other like-minded people and also learn in a great environment. Maybe connect with some new customers, clients, prospects, but our live events are fantastic. That's included as well. Next, if you're wondering, well, how do I do this and get paid for it? Well, our own Ed Rush is going to go through and describe how to become a high-paid multicast marketing consultant. So if you want to become an expert in streaming media and get paid as a marketing consultant and make $5,000 or $10,000 a day doing streaming broadcasting or produce audio and video shows for other people, other business owners, authors, expert speakers, consultants, or coaches, well, this segment is going to teach you how to do that as well and give you the tools and resources so you feel confident enough to close a deal. All right, now the retail price of this program and for the live training is $4,997. And right now we actually have a special going on. So you can get a $2,000 discount only until Saturday at midnight. You can leverage and take advantage of this. And again, you can come to the live training. The dates are made available to you right now on this page, or you can watch it while it is being streamed live. But you get all the tools, all the resources you need to learn how to do this for your business or do it for other people. So that's $2,000 off because you're watching this video right now. So let me summarize the offer for you and just tell you that everything you need to know is on the page when you click on the yellow Order Now button, or if you don't see it, all you need to do is go to multicastmarketingmachines.com/order or call this phone number, which is 858-876-5033, or toll free, it's 877-505-5344. And remember, right now, as of the time I'm making this video, there are 9 seats remaining for our live training event that's taking place. If you want to come to our studio and witness it right now, and the number of seats will be updated on our sales page. So you'll see that at multicastmarketingmachines.com/order. If for some reason you can't attend live because we've sold out, you can watch it live while we stream the content, and you'll be able to access all of the training in the membership site as well. So I believe, as I mentioned earlier, this is the perfect time to take advantage of a huge opportunity before it comes overused and abused like all things do, okay? So if you want to get in on the ground floor, take advantage of this, get underneath your audience, and sell more and work less, I believe multicasting is the future of marketing, and now's the time to get involved. I've staked the future of my own business on using this and leveraging it, and I know you'll enjoy doing it as well. And we're going to give you all the tools you need to make professional productions and do it for other people or do it for yourself in your own business. So I want to thank you on behalf of my team. This is Mike Koenigs. I will see you on the inside of Multicast Marketing Machines. Make sure you place your order right now before we run out of seats on Saturday at midnight. Thanks for watching.